broken, it's all broken, right?
Right, but it's not broken.
Hey,
So
sometimes blind
Mike.
squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Sometimes the good Lord answers your prayers. What's up,
Brett
everybody?
finds a nut every week.
Oh, coming in hot. Oh no.
Welcome back to the What the Fanboy Show. Episode 302 is apparently going to be our last episode because Luke's going to kill me today. And
No, I'm not gonna kill you.
thank goodness.
He's just gonna hurt you really, really
He's
bad.
just going to destroy
There
my...
will be no Jared Leto quoting on this podcast. Said I'm gonna kill Tyler.
Well, we are excited to be back. Another week, another movie. The summer movie season is really we're
This is it.
We're into the trench now, the trenches. So
This is it.
before we dive into our Spider-Verse review, did you guys see any new trailers this week that were worth mentioning?
I did. Actually, I didn't watch them. But maybe you guys did. One of them is actually pretty... Oh, I never watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer.
I did. Thumbs up.
I
Thumbs
totally
up.
forgot.
Yeah.
about
I'm
it.
super in for this movie.
Yep.
I was so busy this week.
I also love the animation for this.
Yeah.
It's really different. We'll probably talk about animation a decent bit tonight, but
yeah.
the animated film game is really being stepped up over this last few years.
Was
and this
it-
one seems to really follow suit.
Was
so.
it a better trailer than the teaser?
I'd say it's about on par.
Okay,
Well,
then I give it a
yeah,
thumbs up too. I
it's
really
maybe
like
a little
that
bit
trailer,
better. You
so-
get a little bit more Splinter.
Nice.
I think my favorite joke in the whole thing revolves around Splinter, because Leo tells on them, and I think it's Mikey's like, "Oh, come on, Leo, you ratted us out," and Splinter's like, "Don't use that word that way," and it's super funny. But no, I think it looks good. I'm really excited for it.
Dang, I totally forgot
Love me
to
some
watch
Ninja
it.
Turtles, man. Always down for more Ninja Turtles.
I'll have to watch that after. This one is actually kind of old. We forgot to talk about it last week. Did you guys see the Skull Island trailer?
I didn't watch this. I saw that it came out. I saw it's an animated Kong movie.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't see
Netflix,
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's super cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think you'll be very excited for it, Brett, since while you don't love the movies in this universe, I know you
I love
get
some of
very
the
excited
movies.
for the movies in this. With these
Universe.
characters.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I love the characters. Haven't been in love with the latest batch of movies, but that's okay. Not everything has to be for me. It should, but it doesn't have to be.
You are the target audience.
Yeet.
Yeah, I really like
Need
the
my
animation.
$10.
Yeah. $10.
My
please.
$10 ticket.
$10, please. Is this a series or a movie?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I hope it's a series.
Me too. I think that'd be cool.
Mhm.
Give it some room to breathe.
Did you guys watch the trailer for Black Mirror?
I did not, because I've never watched
Yeah.
an episode of Black Mirror before.
I gave up on Black Mirror in season 3. Eventually I hit a point where it's just I don't care about this anymore.
Didn't you do the one that was choose your own
Yeah,
adventure?
you did Bandersnatch or whatever.
Oh yeah, that might have killed it for me.
It was your favorite thing that year, I thought.
If you would rank it lowest to highest, yes.
Like we were playing golf.
Yes.
Yeah.
It got the lowest score, therefore it won.
Oh.
That was horrible. Horrible.
With Captain Eyebrows. Baby Warlock.
Oh, Adam Warlock, yeah.
Captain Eyebrows.
I see it.
That's what I've always called him, because he has some very fierce eyebrows.
Interesting.
Over in the chat,
I've never paid attention to his eyebrows.
Nick. Welcome back, Nick. It's been a while. So excited you're here. Nick says, I begged Tyler to watch a certain episode of Black Mirror for a few weeks.
He does.
The pig episode?
No, it's I think it's called. Is it called Striking Vipers? It's the Yaya and Anthony Mackie episode.
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're like,
When they're soldiers?
yeah,
That was a good
and
episode.
gay lovers, I believe. Yeah. So
Honestly, there's so many great episodes.
Lepke's tries to get me to watch that one all the time.
In seasons 1 and 2. The Daniel Kaluuya episode is awesome. But I think that one's still my favorite.
Daniel Kaluuya as a whole is awesome.
I'll know him later too. Jack Ryan Final season.
Did not watch this.
Yeah, the final season.
I'm very excited for the final season because I do like the show, but I didn't think the trailer was that good.
Is this 3 or 4?
4.
Okay, so
The trailer was
I would
so
say
generic.
that the trailer. Look, I watched part of the first season. Thought it was okay. Thought it was good. It didn't keep my interest enough in finishing that or kind of getting me back. And I would say that this trailer, kind of like what Luke's saying, it's fine. It's not doing anything to be like, oh, I need to really jump into this. I need to this makes me want to rewatch or not rewatch, but finish up season 1 and catch up. It doesn't do any of that, but I think the show knows what it is and who it's playing towards, so it will probably be fine. It'll probably be good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 trailers I had.
Nice.
So if anybody else has any more.
Someone sent me a Snapchat that says #meal prep, #fitness is my passion. It's pizza and breadsticks and it's Tupperware. Sorry, that was just
good.
super goofy.
I love it. What is this show if not just being a little goofy a lot of the time?
Heck yeah.
That's all I know.
That's pretty much all we do here. So what do we got? What do we got? Is there any other trailers? What do we got
That's
next?
all
I
I
don't know
got.
anymore. Then I stopped paying attention to everything.
That's fair. Okay.
We'll have a lot of trailers next week.
Yeah.
Summer
Games Fest kicks
Oh,
off this week.
Xbox
Yeah, we will be
Showcase.
And
talking
Sunday, yeah,
about
that's
a
right.
lot
Sunday is
of-
the Xbox Showcase.
Yeah. We'll be talking about a lot of video game stuff next week, won't we? Yep. Video games. All right. Well, then we can jump into our review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Nope, Across the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
All 3 of those titles are going to get me every time.
What an idiot.
They're
Into Across Beyond.
They are too similar. They are 5-word titles, and 4 of the words are the same.
I feel like that should make it easier.
That continuity.
There are 4 words in the title. 3 of them are the same. I didn't study math in college at all, so I got my college.
This is a disaster.
I got my college level math credits in high school and was like, nope, don't need to do anymore.
Hold on. Is Spider-Man one word? Hyphenated.
I think it counts as one
I
word.
think it counts as 1 word.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were getting this correct.
In that case, then
Somebody
if
will
it's
say it's
if it
2
wasn't,
words.
it'd be Spider-Man Across
Then
the
you'd have been right the first-
Spider-Verse. No, I wouldn't have, because then there would be
Then
6.
it's 6.
It's 1 word. I'm making the
The
decision.
whole title's 1 word.
Yep.
Tyler,
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
why don't you lead us off with your thoughts about Across the Spider-Verse?
Okay.
Bro.
What? Just gotta clear my throat, you know.
I need to clear.
Let me clear
I'm
my
losing my
throat.
voice over here.
No, I like to write down little impression things. So mine just vibrant, heartfelt, and exciting. Across the Spider-Verse manages to tell a complete story while teeing up an exciting finale.
That was very concise.
Super simple and concise. Yeah, I love this movie. These movies. I think I'll say this again later when we're in spoilers, I'm sure, but I think we are sticking the landing away from one of the best trilogies ever made.
That is
and I think
entirely possible.
Without
yeah.
a doubt, the best superhero trilogy ever made.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm starting
Lord of
to
the
think
Rings not a superhero movie.
No. Definitely not. But I'm starting to think like this trilogy of films could end up in that same category where we're talking about it with Lord of the Rings, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's so rare that a movie just has that bar of quality on each one.
Yeah.
Like usually the Dark Knight is up there for consideration too. But
I
it's
would
Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and then it's Dark Knight Rises was good, but it definitely wasn't.
It's
as
a
good as
clear
the first
step
2.
down from the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like, and then Captain America, the first Avenger, was not as good as the other 2, if that's even a Captain America trilogy, depending on who you ask.
Yeah. It's,
Um,
I would put another trilogy I'd put in that mix is the new Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the best cinema
It's
you can get.
super underrated.
Yeah.
I feel like the only one that's been
Easily forgotten.
banger, like 10 out of 10s almost, 10 or 9 out of 10, whatever, is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is like bona fide at the top, in
and
my
we
opinion.
might finally have a contender, which is super awesome.
Yeah.
especially in an animated space.
Yeah.
Makes it even cooler.
Well, Luke, why don't you give your quick impressions?
Well, I kind of gave them, like, kind of just confirming what Tyler said. Like, yeah, this could potentially be probably the second best trilogy of all time, and definitely the best superhero trilogy of all time. That being said, I do need to bring something up.
Vent, baby, vent.
I'm not going to vent because I just don't have it in me. I'm too tired.
He doesn't have the energy.
That's probably good for this section.
It probably
though.
is
This
really
is probably good.
I'm so tired going to the theater, spending 3 hours of my time there, spending money there, and I have a lot of my stuff prepaid, so I'm not even really paying full price.
Yeah.
And just having the experience ruined by people.
Yeah.
By people talking or yelling to the people around them or even to the screen constantly. People on their phones. It's just, I feel like I have to bring it up every other movie at this point.
Yep.
I mean, you see 40 movies in a year. Well, you know what? That might be a little high depending on the year. So we'll say 30 movies, and 15 of those I just
Or
hate.
bad
I
experiences.
hate being there because people are so annoying.
Yeah.
It's just really frustrating. And then I think about people that see maybe 3 movies, maybe 1, and they go and they sit through 30 minutes of trailers. They spend $100, depending on where you live, and then they just have to deal with kids and adults just running their mouth through an entire movie.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
And it's become more of a problem like the last year and a half, I'd say.
Yes.
Like, I think as much as COVID impacted the movie industry, I think it impacted watching a movie in a theater as well.
People
And
got so used to just
watching at home.
watching at home, being hardy with the boys
Yeah.
or girls, and they bring that into the theater, and it's so disruptive and it's so disrespectful to the people around you.
Yeah.
When I left Spider-Verse, I was sitting in my car and I had no idea if I liked the movie because I was so frustrated. And maybe it's just my own problem that I don't want to speak up and make a scene around other people, especially to like kids.
Yeah.
There was lots of people in my showing that were really disruptive, but the main people were these 2 kids, and they were having a great time. And it might be a little bit of jealousy and them being a nuisance towards me as well, but I don't need their commentary about Fortnite and the Spider-Man PS4 game constantly, because there's so many references, and that might have been a slight spoiler, but
It's in the trailer.
it was literally one of the things they did. They talked about how, that was in the trailer and we haven't seen that person yet. And they're just yelling to each other and they're right next to each other. So I just want to bring this to the 5 people that listen to our show. That you need to test your children on whether or not they can sit through a movie and watch it.
Yeah.
If they ask, we'll say, more than 4 questions to you about generic stuff, they're too young. That being said, too, I think this movie is not super kid friendly, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I think it's more for adults than kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they can't sit through a movie and not be distracted by everything around them, they're too young. They can't go. It's a luxury. People pay a lot of money to go to this stuff, and people shouldn't have to deal with that. And it's becoming more and more of a problem, and I'm tired of dealing with it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's especially bad with blockbusters. Like,
Yeah.
because everybody gets off the couch to go see it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I feel like this point, too, would make lots of people mad. I think they should take phones away at movies. I don't care how dim your phone is. you're in a pitch black room
Yeah,
for some of that.
it's always
it's
going to
bright.
be visible.
Well, and like what I think is so interesting is like you're able to have phone control at comedy shows. Like you go to a comedy show, if you pull your phone out, they kick you out.
Yeah.
Like you're out. Your ticket could be $300. You pull your phone out, you're gone. Like there's no discussion.
Yeah.
I've been to shows and watched people get kicked out of the show. This is a $15 movie. I think they could do something like that.
That's the problem.
It's hard,
so
though.
the problem is that the $15 isn't going to be able to cover the cost of hiring someone to sit in a theater and be there in case someone does pull out their phone. So it's not where the theater isn't at that premium price point yet that allows them to be able to afford to do that.
I think IMAX is like if an IMAX 3D in the evening, it's gonna be around $20, and we live where tickets are cheaper.
Cheap, yeah.
Maybe they don't need to take them away, but they need to have aisle walkers walk through. They used to do it.
Yeah.
People would come in, they just walk up the stairs, they hang out in the back for a bit, and they'd walk down, and they just would.
They
look
do
for
it
phones.
periodically.
But then they can also
movie.
make sure like people aren't
Bootlegging and stuff.
doing gross things because people do that.
One of the things I think that is super appealing and that we have the luxury of here though is the Warren 21, and it might become more of something that I use for blockbuster films like this.
If it wasn't so far away.
Yeah, I'm willing to bite that bullet though if it means not having to deal with all the chaos. I mean, it's hard to beat the IMAX, honestly. Like the IMAX is great, but like the theater experiences have been largely bad. Specifically Marvel movies, I'd say, are the worst in my opinion. I've definitely considered going to the 21 for those.
There's definitely a timing thing that we could talk about later.
Yeah.
I don't want to
because our showing was fine.
But yeah,
ironically, I didn't know Brent was in my showing, and then Claire got excited towards the end of the movie, and she kind of like leaned forward, and I like saw her out of the corner of my eye, and I looked, and I was like, "Oh, that's Claire." I was like, "Holy crap, Brett's right there."
I took my 7-year-old to this, and she
did great. I didn't
did
even
good.
notice she was back there.
We have her trained.
I mean, you guys weren't far from us.
She knows the theater etiquette.
Yeah, no.
But unlike some parents, we kind of drill that in. Drill that in early.
I don't remember what movie it was, but it was a movie where they'd speak a foreign language every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid would ask their parent every time, "What are they saying?"
That's rough.
Oh boy. Well, I'll give my quick review here.
Yes, let's talk about.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the movie now. I think this is a fantastic follow. Probably one of the strongest sequels you could make to an already incredible movie. It stands well on its own in terms of kind of what it is. It is a sequel. There is context you have to have from the first one. That's fine.
They catch you up though.
They do. They do catch you up pretty well. As a nice little round. We watched the first one like 2 days before, so we were like,
I watched it the
fresh.
weekend before.
I watched it Saturday night.
Yeah. I think just like the first one, the animation styles in this just blow me away. I don't understand how they do it.
It's so crazy.
And just the amount of talent and passion that's poured into this really is next level. I have a couple knocks against it. Mainly, it does a lot to it's a multiverse movie, and multiverse movies these days need to remind you that it's multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're gonna show you all of the things, slight spoilers, from other things that are Spider-Man. It's all connected in some way,
it's
right?
all there.
So hey, we're gonna show again. I don't really.
I wasn't aware. Nobody in my audience pointed out any of those things.
Oh, that's
sarcasm.
So and so from that movie, or that's
Oh my goodness, it's Spider-Man.
So there's
direct
a whole
quote.
There's a whole section in the movie that's
From my
real
audience.
probably 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes that are dedicated to that.
Yeah.
And that really It was a little too much for me. I get that that's a person.
It was too much for me too.
That's a person. That's a taste thing.
I agree with you.
Okay,
I'm
glad I'm not the only one.
I think some work really well, and it's when it's in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they put it right in front of you, and it's like, hey, look at this thing you've seen.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, get it.
My other real minor knock against it is that and it's a product of what it is. It's a part 1 of 2. So they tell, like Tyler said, they do tell a complete story in this. And I love that story.
Yeah, it's really good.
At the same time, it feels weirdly paced because of it being a part 1 of 2.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Like the end kind of comes, and you're like, oh, I want. Like it doesn't feel like it should be ending.
Yeah. Well, and like what Dana said after it, she was like, you kind of got to the point at the end where you're starting to put some pieces together, and she was like, I just kept looking at my watch, and I'm like, they have a lot to wrap up here.
Yeah.
And like in your mind, you're not thinking when you're watching it, you're not thinking part 2, part 2, part 2, part 2. You're thinking, okay, how does this movie close the show, right?
Yeah.
And that's hard to do.
There are some really great things that come along with that, though. And I'll say specifically, like the first act is really long, and it feels long. And that's not a bad thing for me. I love that they were able to go with a slower paced first act, and like really build on like here's where we're at in the world.
One of my first pros I wrote down after watching this movie was it was like almost like a thank you. And it was like, thank you for allowing this story to have room to breathe.
Yeah.
Because it really feels like it has room to spread its wings a little bit. And it's really nice.
Yep. They jumped in a rocket ship and blasted.
It did after, yeah. I mean, it gets a little chaotic. But that first act, like they really let you kind of savor the moment. And there's some really good moments.
There's even a prelude.
Yeah.
To the actual movie.
Yeah.
Which is honestly one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah.
We can maybe talk about. I don't know if we'll talk about that.
We can
save that for spoilers.
We can save more stuff for spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, we can talk about that
because it's interesting. Because the prelude, I actually think is like it's the prelude, but it's actually the main story.
Yeah.
Of this one,
it's what tees it up for sure.
Yeah. And it's like the proper first act that starts after the prelude is like this. That almost should be the prelude, but it wouldn't work to do it the other way around, so...
Yeah. I guess, mild spoiler, this is a Gwen movie.
It's way more of a Gwen movie than anyone, I think, expected.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a Gwen story. So, and that's the story we talk about kind of being complete in this film.
Yeah.
Miles' story will stretch out.
This really was Miles's first half.
Yeah.
Like, of kind of his secondary arc, right? So if... Into the Spider-Verse, the first one, was its own standalone thing, and Miles's next arc of, really defining who he is as Spider-Man, which is what I think they're going for, that starts in Across the Spider-Verse and will end probably at the end of Beyond the Spider-Verse. So it really does feel like a natural halfway point. But Gwen's story fits really nicely in that, and it's really emotional, and it's really well written, it's really well performed, and it's beautifully animated.
Oh yeah. I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but in my letterbox, I was just like, animation, action, writing, directing, just like fantastic.
All the things about making a movie, yes. Good job.
But like done well, but like it's just beyond that. It's done well and in such a unique way too.
It's exciting.
I freaking love Gwen's animated style in her world.
Mm-hmm.
It's so gorgeous.
It's like her comics.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. And like one of the coolest things in that too is like the mood of the scene, the walls and stuff of the room change colors.
Yep.
So like it's so subtle, but you notice it.
Yep.
Like it just works perfectly. I don't know. The whoever sits down and is like putting this on paper and they're like, this is how we're gonna do this, and everybody's like, okay. Like I don't know how that works. Like I can't wrap my brain around getting to that decision. But they do something that not all animated movies do, and it's that they use their animation to also tell a story. Like their animation is a character in the story. Yep. It's not just your characters. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, there's kind of the Pixar way of doing it, which would be more like, we're gonna make this as crazy realistic. It's not always hyper realistic, but
except to the people.
Yeah, except the people. As we can in order to show that emotion on our characters. And then there's this style, which is like, we're going to lean into the medium. We're not going to make these characters photorealistic, but we're going to, morph the world around them to tell you how to feel, show you how to feel.
Like, to me, when I watch this, I feel like the script has there is a line for the animation.
Yeah, probably.
Like, you go down, it's like Miles, Gwen, animation, Miles, Gwen. Like, it has its own thing. Much like James Gunn writes music into his scripts. I feel like they're writing their animation into their script.
Yeah.
And it's not the other way around.
Right.
Which I think is just, it's insane. It's so impressive to watch.
Yeah. Another pro for me, the cast of characters, for quite a bit of the movie really focuses on Gwen and Miles, but we do get some returning characters. Yeah. We get some new, fun, evil.
I freaking loved Hobie so much.
Dude, Hobie is so legit.
Hobie's awesome. More spider people, and then
upset the system, mate.
So good.
Dude, I was struggling to understand.
Dude, yeah. It was nice to hear him have his normal voice, though.
That Cockney accent was thick.
That may be one of my another minor con would be the audio mix. I don't know if it's just our theater, but
when Gwen's playing the drums at the very beginning, I was like, I don't know if I'm hearing all this.
I might just be used to subtitles. I watch everything with subtitles at this point, and I'll start a movie at the theater, and I'll look down for the subtitles, and they won't be there, and let's be like, oh no.
We watch a lot of stuff at home with subtitles as well. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, there is a little bit of audio mix.
It's not bad for the majority of the movie. There are just a couple instances where I thought it was noticeable.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's bad enough to be a con, more so just like a pointing it out.
Yeah, that's fair. And as soon as we watch Oppenheimer in 4 weeks, we'll be like, Across the Spider-Verse was amazing audio. Yeah. I could
They should hire that sound
comparatively.
guy.
Oppenheimer's going to be like,
Dude, the sad part is how accurate that truly is. Like, if you watch that sailboat scene in Tenet, you're just like, what are they saying?
We gotta go back and forth.
Yeah. Well, Game Lord Master in the chat says, I've seen a lot of people complaining on Twitter about saying they can't hear the characters talking in the movie. There are definitely instances where, like, you can hear them, but it's pretty hard to make out what they're saying at times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with Hobie. Because it's Kaluuya and he's got like the full on Cockney accent. It's kicking and it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But his character is super cool and
the animation is
awesome.
That's one of the best animations.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy cool.
The soundtrack, the score, I should say, I think is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Pemberton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not as impressed with the music selection though for this movie.
The Metro Boomin, all that stuff. Yeah.
It wasn't. Some of it was.
There's some really good stuff in there. Like I was listening to it today. There's some stuff that I really, really like, and there's some others that I can pretty easily pass over.
Yeah.
I think the first soundtrack as a whole is probably more complete. I think this one. So far, I think there's one song that I have as a higher high, but I mean it's not bad, but it's definitely not like it is in the first one.
Yeah,
you don't have a "What's Up Danger" in there.
Yeah,
or a Sunflower.
Callin' is pretty close, but it's not as good as Sunflower.
I just liked how Sunflower is integrated into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
What does it say?
Teenagers are weird.
I mean, not wrong.
I'll give another pro here because animation, music, obviously, the stuff with Gwen, but I think this movie just has a ton of heart, and I think it shows a lot of it in the Morales family.
Yeah.
And just kind of how they, like, I don't, like, we talked about how this isn't necessarily for kids. There's very much a strong, like, parents message in here, too.
Yep.
And the stuff with Miles and his parents is super interesting. Tugs on your heartstrings a little bit. But as much as, Miles is still learning to be a hero and deal with his problems, his parents are learning to deal with a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that story, it's very small, but that story in this movie is told extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. Made me feel good.
Agreed.
And sad.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah, there was, a certain level of heartbreak in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly around,
His uncle.
Uncle Aaron and the relationship that he had with his brother. And then going into this one, you can tell, high schoolers are going to high school, right?
Yeah.
Always.
and rebel. That's like children's natural tendency.
Rebel, be Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, right? But there's that struggle of like, I'm figuring out who I am. This is my identity journey, and my parents are trying to help me, but the way parents often try to help is direct.
Yeah.
Right? So be here at this time. We're going to go talk about college.
Yeah.
And
I love that aspect of Spider-Man too, and you don't get a lot. You usually get it in one movie out of all the trilogies of I'm like actually in high school and I gotta do my school life and I gotta deal with my Spider-Man life.
Yeah.
And like you kind of get it with the Homecoming movies. But like one he's on like vacation or whatever, and the third one everybody knew was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's like that was an even different side of it, but like where he's like trying to make a meeting, but he's fighting the spot. I love seeing that interaction of like how would a 15-year-old manage all this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want more of that.
Yeah, it's something we don't see.
I
much
love high school Spider-Man
in superhero
it's
movies.
The most interesting part.
A lot because of age. Often we get adult superheroes, and so it kind of reminds me a little bit of Miss Marvel, the show last year from Marvel, obviously on Disney Plus, where like that was kind of refreshing to see a real kid dealing with kid things, trying to figure this stuff out. And Spider-Verse also offers that as a fun little story point that they get to play with. So I wanted to shout out locations. This one takes us outside of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I love there's it's across the Spider-Verse. You can probably assume that there's some verse jumping in there. That would be safe. But like where they go,
all the weird versions
the
of
weird
New York.
versions of New York. Moonbatten was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved the Spider-Verse.
Nueva York.
Yeah, Nueva New York.
You said New York.
New York.
Nueva York. Nueva means new.
Nueva
York.
Nueva York.
Sure.
Is that right? Earth 9999. That's still probably not right. 2699. I don't know. It was something.
Earth 1.
In any case, I think the aesthetics of all those locations and the set pieces that they have in those locations are really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it'll be nice to kind of get back, I think, to...
Go back to Brooklyn.
Back to Brooklyn in the third one, I assume. I don't have any insider knowledge. I just assume, based on the story they told, that's where we'll end up at. But, yeah, it was nice to get away for a little bit and see the Spider-Verse.
The other versions of spiders.
Yep.
As well.
Spider.
Spider.
You guys want to talk spoilers? Should we
I do.
give our
Ratings?
first?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
1, 2, 3.
Booyah.
Yeah.
Was there any doubt?
Easiest booyah of the year.
It's right up there with the original Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Like,
I could be talked into liking this one more. I need more time to,
I think
to breathe on
once
it.
part-
Once the story's complete.
Once the story's complete, I'll be like, this right here, 1 and 2, maybe one of my favorite superhero stories of all time.
Yeah.
I could see that.
The problem with that, though, is if I think that the second one is better than the first one, Into the Spider-Verse is one of the, like, maybe 3 movies I would argue is, like, a perfect movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like, I didn't like a couple of the multiverse
Things.
force cameos.
Well, we can talk about that here in spoilers. So this is your spoiler warning if you want to jump out and, kind of either look in the comments or on YouTube when you're watching this later, you can kind of skip ahead to the next section and skip the spoilers. Spoilers are starting now.
What's the big one you guys want to talk about first?
It's not big.
Like, of a cameo?
Yeah.
Oh, the cameo stuff.
I
I think Donald Glover is probably the big one.
Yo.
Just any of the live action stuff.
Yeah.
So we got Donald Glover, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And you get the Venomverse stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
There's
that.
Venomverse stuff. There's mention
the
of
gas station lady.
Tom Holland and
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
Like it's all brought up, and I think it's a little excessive. We kind of talked about that. Maybe a little self-indulgent. It goes on just a little bit too long, but
I think
there's also lots of cool comic references as well. Which
Yeah.
I, not knowing all of those, it's probably more digestible for me. At the same time,
I
I
don't
think
know all
they
those
linger.
either.
They
Spidey
linger
is
real
such a
hard on the live action
huge
stuff.
comic.
there's so many deep cuts
Yeah.
in this.
It's
It's ridiculous.
outrageous.
I'll notice 5 out of the 100 of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the live action stuff was a little much. Honestly, I would have taken out the first time you meet Donald Glover's Prowler
Mhm.
and only shown him when they're all running through and he's just like, boo.
That would've
Just
been
do it there and
awesome.
everybody be like,
Yeah.
The other one with Andrew Garfield when they're talking about how Gwen Stacy or Captain Stacy always dies because it's part of the canon. And it like shows full on Andrew Garfield is like, whoa. I would have done it more like Toby's, where it's like a bubble on the side, which I thought was really done well.
They did several of those with
Yeah.
Garfield too.
Mhm.
He's in the little bubbles on the side. Yeah, the Garfield one, like where he's right up against the screen. I was like, oh man, we got some Space Jam going on here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Personally, though, my favorite cameo was Lego.
Dude, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
I thought that was so funny.
That was a great bit.
And like how he was just in on it. Just like, hey, Miguel,
Yeah.
this dude is coming for you. And then he's done. Awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was like completely out of left field. I was like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, we haven't even really hit on the main story point here, which I guess is kind of a spoiler, so I'm glad we didn't talk about
the
it early.
canon?
But the fact that that Miles is the first anomaly,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's all his fault.
the whole idea of Miguel having to protect what is canon, I love this.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna love this.
You
too.
knew I would love it.
It's such
We're gonna
it's such a subversion of
canon.
canon.
Yeah!
The conversation that Brett hates but loves having.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, oh, why does everything have to be canon? This is just kind of making fun of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're just like, yup, the parent always has to die.
Well, and like I thought too, before we go too deep into that conversation, the interesting timeline thing they show before they show like Miguel's thing is the MCU little, like weaving line thing, and I was like, interesting. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
And then it like breaks into Miguel's thing, but
Yeah, this is everything. This is the multiverse.
It's
and
everything.
This is the Spider-Verse.
yeah,
They
And
should
it
have
zooms
gotten
in.
everything everywhere all at once bubble in there.
they kind of did with the bagel.
The bagel.
Yeah,
There's a.
Did you see the tweet of the guy's like, or maybe it was a TikTok or something? He's like, if I had a nickel for every time a bagel ended the world, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happens twice.
Yeah, there's actually a billboard in one of the scenes that it says like
The everything bagel.
no, it has a bagel, and then it says all the stuff in
Oh,
all
yeah.
the places,
Yeah, all
the
at the
time.
same time or something like
So
that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm happy now.
There's a lot of little things like that hidden in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the central plot device of this being the cannon is a really cool kind of play with, like you said, Miles being kind of the first anomaly.
Man, it's such like, and again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but my guess is no. My guess is I'm not. My guess is there's something here, which is like, remember when like Miles was first announced, and there was, of course, because there always is, Spider-Man's not black. He's not a real Spider-Man, and this is just another like fantastic story saying like, no, shut up, F
Yeah.
you.
He's still Spider-Man.
He's still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's about to prove it.
And
Yep.
and that's why I think I'm gonna love the third one. He is gonna prove it.
Yep.
So excited!
I think I'm gonna love the third one for other reasons, but we'll get to that later. Because we did mention Miguel, and I just want to talk about villains in the movie because I think they're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's like out of nowhere. Like Miguel he's not a villain, but he's an antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And including all of his spider people as well. And I want to let in everybody on a little secret, okay? If you ever hear a character in a movie say the words, "It's for your own good," they are a bad guy. Just remember that, okay? They say that a lot in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gwen says it. Peter B. Parker says it, and Miguel. They all say it. I'm pretty sure. And each time one of them said it, I was like, that hurts.
What I love about that though is like they all say that and they all have their moments of like trying to stop Miles, but Miles is like constantly proving everybody like, no, I can do this. And everybody slowly, like there's this slow gear turn where everybody's like, no, Miles is right. Like he can do it.
Yeah.
And you kind of get that resolution, and this is kind of like the resolution of Gwen's arc too, is the stuff with her dad quitting.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, so you can break like it's her figuring it out.
Yeah.
And then getting everybody on board. Like it's just such a cool way to do that.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, you can't break the cannon. Miles is going to be the one to figure it out. When in reality, no, it's Gwen figures it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where do you take that in the third movie? Like, I think it just springboards so well.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant when I said like there is a complete arc here. Like the problem is presented, and there is a resolution to the problem.
Yep.
Okay, but now we have to take the resolution of that problem and apply it to the main character.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so cool. Like, I don't know that I've seen a movie do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
At least not this effectively.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also have, going into this movie, or coming out of this movie, we're presented with like 3 proper antagonists. We've got Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the one that we haven't mentioned yet from the first act, Spot.
Yeah.
Who's fantastic.
Yes.
I
Spot
love-
is great.
I love that it's
Hilarious.
just this villain of the week who's like pissed off enough that he's like, I'm gonna become the world's most.
Yeah. I'm going to destroy the universe.
Yeah.
They did so good with making him so goofy, and everybody's just thinking, yeah, this guy's a goofball. He's kind of hilarious. Like got bread falling out of his tummy, and then
I love when Miles
When he
punches
becomes-
himself. And he's like, ah! Like every time. Like the little noises.
when he becomes Ultimate Spot, everybody thought, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was freaky looking.
Yeah.
And it was another just example of great animation
Yeah.
where it was like almost like
Like
pencil
squiggles.
drawn.
Yeah, it's like squiggles and stuff.
And it was freaky looking.
And he
man.
like is certainly unstable. Like
yeah.
visually he's unstable.
I'm gonna
but...
take everything you loved. Oh no.
And
Which,
then
yeah, go ahead.
well, and then at the 4th act of this movie is Miles realizing that he's not back in his universe. He's in Universe 42 and
His Spider's universe.
Spider's universe and confronts himself as the Prowler.
Yep. How quickly did you catch on that it wasn't his universe?
Immediately.
Yeah, I was like, oh no. It's like, oh no.
Well, as soon as they showed Gwen.
They showed Earth 42 on the computer screen. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's not his Earth.
Yeah, I didn't pick that up then. As soon as Gwen got there, and they're showing me very intentionally that like they're trying to set up that this is the same place.
Yeah.
Like these are very obvious like reverse shot. I understand the language of cinema enough to be like, I think they're pulling a fast one on me.
Well, and I love that like the whole movie they toyed with this idea of Miles telling his family and that he shouldn't do it, and they do like the whole Miles tells Rio and Gwen's outside of the room, and they make it look like Gwen is listening, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then like you still get that moment of him telling his mom, and again, another opportunity of subversion. They're like,
who?
What?
Who's Spider-Man?
But they pay back to the one of the best jokes in the first movie, the cosplay joke. Like, just wait till you see Comic-Con. And then Rio, when he tells his mom on Earth 42, she's like, is this one of your dress-up things?
Yeah.
Like, they make another cosplay joke. And I just like, oh, this is so good. Like, they remembered that throwaway joke from the first movie and really kind of doubled down there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that whole Earth 42 scene was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this is awesome. Also, the visual style of that Earth is a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
It's darker.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is so cool.
It gave me a real good like, oh, it's like Gotham, right?
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
Those vibes of this is a town that's run by
Villains. There's no
Villains.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, the Sinister Six.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they make a very notable mention of that.
Also, J. Jonah Jameson is, what's his
JK?
name? J.K. Simmons in
Simmons,
every
yeah.
universe, which I think is awesome.
Yep. It's great. Nice little throwaway there.
But you'd kind of talked about it before, being a part one, and I think this is one of the good ones where they handle it so well.
Yeah.
Where like he's tied up against the punching bag, and like you're like, okay, this is where it's gonna end, and you're so excited for the next one. But like there is a conclusion, and it's almost like Infinity War or Dune, where it's like, oh, this is an ending.
Yeah.
But it's also the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to compare this to the all-powerful Fast X, but like,
I mentioned this.
if you want to know how not to do it, you
do it that way.
like we just got a great example of the worst possible way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we got the best example.
The week later, you get one of the best examples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time is a flat circle, man. I just don't get it. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that I wasn't sure how they were gonna wrap up Gwen's story. I love what they did with her father leaving and then him being supportive of her, and then like, go do your thing, go save your friend, and then the whole crew back together, Gwen's crew.
From the first movie and the new movie, awesome.
Dude, I was so glad we got to see Penny again, like earlier in the movie too.
Mhm.
Just the little.
'Cause I loved Penny in the first one.
Yeah.
So like having her back with her new robot, I was like,
Yeah,
heck
and
baby. Let's go.
In terms of like the balance of how many characters you bring back and feature regularly versus, introducing new characters. I think they did a pretty good job. It was important. Obviously, Gwen had to be there.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of the key in Miles' story, I think.
Yep.
Peter B. Parker, I think he was used just the right amount.
Yep.
He does have other responsibilities. He's a dad, but he really is like the funny man.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jake Johnson,
Jake Johnson.
Jake Johnson, and he kills me every time. We get a little glimpse of Penny, and then
Noir.
You get Noir back, yeah.
Yep, and then we have
Hobie's there.
Hobie's new.
Was Hobie there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's there at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
I think he's just right of Gwen, just to the right of her.
Okay.
And then Peter B is on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
The Avatar girl is new.
Yeah,
she's
Spider
there.
Bite.
Yeah.
And then from Moonbatten. What's
Yeah.
his name?
Joe Pender.
Yeah.
That's what I call him.
Oh.
'Cause
Puppeteer Prabhakar? I butchered that. I'm sorry.
it's the guy who plays Depender in Deadpool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Pavatir.
Probcar.
Prabhakar.
Let's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his character's name.
And then you have your antagonist
It's like a Peter
team
Parker.
of Jessica Drew, Ben Reilly, Miguel, on top of
Yeah, we
Uncle
didn't,
Aaron and Prowler Miles.
We didn't
Dude,
talk.
I loved his Prowler look.
Yeah, it's dope. Like the digital kind of outward
I just
projection.
thought his braids were awesome.
Yeah, he's cool looking.
we didn't
took your
talk
braids
about.
out? And I was like, what?
Shoot, I can't find her. What was her name? You just said her.
Jessica Drew?
Jessica Drew.
Spider Woman?
Spider.
It's Issa Rae. Am I her?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she did a really good job as kind of that like bridge between
Miguel and
Gwen.
Gwen, yeah.
Yeah. As like this person who's kind of, you never know exactly where her, like I could see her flipping in the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
She has that vibe.
Yep.
And I think she just played that line really well of being dedicated to the cause, understanding and committed, but also seeing the best or wanting to see the best in people.
Yeah.
Wanting to give Gwen her shot.
Yeah.
That was important for Gwen's storyline specifically.
I want to mention Hobie again.
Dude, Hobie.
Because, like, I love Danny Kaluuya, but I love what they did with his character of... He is a hero, but he's a different type of hero.
He's an anarchist. I love it.
He doesn't change. He stands his ground.
Yeah.
He's, like, with Miles the entire way. And, like, it might be like, oh, this guy's going against the system, and I like that. But I think he also believes he's right, which is why he dips, and he's like, all right,
I can help them.
I can help Gwen because I know she's going to go help this guy, too. I really appreciated that they didn't have this flip of character and that he, like, just changed personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when he's like, oh, fighting the system. I like it. I was like, oh, it's so good.
Also, they don't really say it, but it's super subtle. The reasons why they hang out is because Gwen is her drummer in the band.
Yeah.
And they never really answer in that in the movie, but
There's one line that's kind of like,
it's in passing.
need a drummer.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody's running around.
Yep.
And everyone's like, are they romantic? It's like, that's all Miles can think about.
You left your toothbrush. Miles like, what?
Excuse me?
Oh, so good.
I really like the line they toe with that relationship. Miles and Gwen.
Yeah.
And
Dude, the look of betrayal that Miles has when he like learns that all these
when he's
people,
like on that train,
he like, well, they do care about him.
Yeah.
But he knows that they all knew it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But gosh dang it.
But I love that's when he has the moment. He's like, "I'm gonna prove why I'm better than all of you," or whatever. I think he says something along the lines of like being better than Peter or something like that.
The line, I think it's in the trailer too. The line that I just love. Stephanie asked me what was your favorite part on the way home, and I was like, it's the moment. And he's like, everyone keeps telling me how my story should end.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, let's go.
So good. Mic drop.
Then he goes invisible. Dude, I actually
Got me
legit
feeling
thought he
things.
teleported. I was like, what? Took me like 5 minutes to be like, oh, he can turn invisible. An idiot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm curious where the first one is just gonna pick up. Or the first one, the next one.
The third one.
The third one.
Where is it gonna start immediately where the second one ended, or are we gonna jump to X amount of time later?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that'll be a hard thing to balance.
Or is it gonna be like? Listen,
Comes out next March, by the way.
Yeah, 8 months.
Yes, I appreciate. I don't have to wait a super
They made
long
them back
time.
to back, which is super awesome.
I wonder if they'll Matrix 3 it. It's like we're looking for Neo. So for like the first 40 minutes of the movie, it's Gwen's team.
Yeah. So
Out
that
looking
first
for
act
Miles.
is them, yeah.
And then we get the train station escape, or the big punching bag escape. Matrix 3 not really that great. Great ideas in it, but I think I should rewatch the Matrix movies. Except the
They're
fourth
fun.
one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a couple things like I don't know where they'll go for 3, but I think there's a couple things to talk about coming out of this. And we would probably get to this in news, but we could probably tag it on here.
Yeah,
There's a
let's do it.
live action Miles movie coming.
Is this Sonyverse or MCU?
I would assume Sony because
They've got the. I mean, it would be Sony.
yeah,
It would be Sony. It'll be tied into the MCU somehow.
Yeah.
but it's
much like
I would say
Spider-Verse
it's
is
gonna
kind of
be-
tied into it too.
Yeah,
I'd be excited for both because Miles is awesome, but I
Yep.
do think it'd be awesome to watch friendless Peter Parker
Meet Miles.
meet Miles and make a new friend.
And maybe that's where they go. But like I'd be very interested to see if the reason and this is why like I don't think the Donald Glover cameo bothered me as much as it bothered you guys is I think that Uncle Aaron was actually supposed to be in Venom's universe and maybe he escaped his
Oh.
and that's why he's locked up by Miguel. Because remember they lock those people who get to the wrong dimensions. So I'm thinking that maybe that Uncle Aaron's supposed to be in the Venomverse. And that's where Miles fits. Like the live action Miles will be the Venom versus Spider-Man. Because they've never exclusively stated who Spider-Man is in that universe. I think it's Miles. Like I think that's the movie. I
If
don't think it's a
anything
Venom
can-
movie.
I could be.
it's,
I could be down with
I think
that.
it's a
Anything
Prowler
can
movie.
redeem the crappy Venomverse.
it's getting Miles and Prowler over there.
It will be Miles Morales.
Yeah. So, and I think that's where they're going. Like, I think Miles will be the Spider-Man in that Venom pocket universe. Childish Gambino or Donald Glover will be Prowler in that universe, facing off with Miles. Probably get a tease to Tom Hardy's Venom, which, love it or hate it, whatever. Venom and Miles have a nice little story to tell. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Lots of Miles stuff, like in the next couple of years.
And
We have
I am
this,
all for it.
Spider-Verse 3, Spider-Man PS5 2.
2. And then you
Then-
get the
then
live
live
action
action.
Miles movie. Yep.
And neither one of these characters, Miles or Peter, are going anywhere anytime soon. Sony knows they have a
Especially with the writer's strike going on.
bankable. They have a bankable product there with those two. So I'm most excited when we talk about the third one. I think I'm
for sure.
I'm most excited about how Miles changes the vibe of the superhero story. I think Miles in a way is similar to someone like Captain America, who at the end of the day, he's not wrong and he changes the world around him. Yeah, Miles has his own arc. It's dealing with his family. But that's, he's going to be more of a character. My guess is that he's going to be more of a character who he is the moral center. He's the one who changes Gwen. He's the one who, helps the universe realize that the rules are maybe they're not there to protect them. They're there to serve one person. Or they're maybe just, Miguel maybe is just misinformed or
Misunderstanding the rules.
misunderstanding how things work.
I'm just curious how villainous they'll make Miguel.
Me too, because they have a very easy out in terms of like
Making him a good guy.
making him a good right. Like
Yeah.
he's still a Spider-Man, and he was just trying to do the right thing. And you have a big villain.
I was gonna say, you have a villain
you've
that's going to
got
destroy the universe or
Spot,
the multiverse.
so-
Yeah.
But even like with him, like he doesn't have spider powers. I don't know how his powers work. So like maybe he'll be the actual first anomaly or whatever, and he's just blaming Miles because
Because it gets him off the hook.
it gets him off the hook.
Yeah.
and it could,
Yeah, because he
could
took
have
the place of
Yeah.
himself.
and he destroyed a world, and he could be fudging that story for all we know. Where,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to make him fight alongside Miles with the Spot thing. Like, because, if Miguel truly is trying to protect the Spider-Verse or the multiverse, Spot's going to be the biggest threat to it. Enemy of my enemy is my friends. But also, I think it goes back to Miles being the moral center like you were saying, and like Miles is the rising tide that raises all ships, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the one who gets everybody to see that, maybe their worldview needs some polishing.
He's the here's a reference Luke will like. He's the Marty McFly of the Spider-Verse. Marty McFly is the character who has to convince the other characters to change, right? He's the one who has to help his dad stand up for himself.
You have to punch him. I can't. If I do that, everything gets out of whack. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Levke says he wants to date his mom. Not quite.
I'll date his mom.
What?
Hey, you would?
Yeah.
No, but for real.
I don't know, man. This movie's incredible.
I cannot wait to see it again. I'm gonna have
Pre-orders are up.
I'm gonna have to time my second theater experience to avoid children, though.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Go at like 11 p.m. It's like your best
super
bet.
late one.
I was hoping I could make like the 10 p.m. on Saturday night, but I was so tired. And I was just like, I'll just watch the first. Probably should have just went for it.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like the best showing is.
We went at 11:30.
We went at 11:30 and we had a great time.
Those
there
seem
were
to-
some kids in ours, but they all seemed
They were good. They were in it.
They're going to see a movie in the middle of the afternoon. There's a lot more dedication in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like a 7 p.m. movie is like a date night thing.
My best experience movie of the year was Guardians of the Galaxy, and I saw it at 10:30 in the morning. Awesome.
Nice. Love it.
On a Friday, I should also add.
We've talked about Miles and Spider-Verse for quite a while. Let's move on to some news. The one that I have kind of written down there, it's slightly relevant to our podcast. We don't really get into tech stuff that often, but Apple announced today their new, it's called Apple Vision Pro.
Apple TV Plus.
It's their it's their AR, VR,
Apple TV Face.
augmented reality / virtual reality
Apple
headset.
Face Plus.
It's got some gaming application. It's got some, video application in the sense that it's a computer and you can watch things on it. We won't talk about it long because I don't know whoever is going to be able to buy this thing.
Listen, if we all pitch in together, we can afford it in like 10 years. Like buying a crappy
If
car.
we all
How much
pitch
is it?
in
$3,500.
$1,200, we can buy one for the three of us.
Or we could all just buy gaming PCs and be even harder gamers.
Yeah, I'm not buying one of these. This is stupid.
Way too expensive.
I told Brett before the show, I'll get it if it lets me go into the Oasis, but that's the only thing. And that doesn't exist yet, so.
Well, we had to build this so that someone would build the Oasis.
Wait.
So, it looks like there's some, like I was telling Luke, I think that there's some really cool tech inside of that. How it's you don't have to have controllers at all. It's using cameras to watch your hands. It's very immersive in the sense of it can completely filter out what's in front of you, so it can really be a VR experience. But the price point just does not make that functionality desirable for the average consumer. So look, we all said Apple was crazy to charge $700 for a phone.
I didn't pay $700 for my phone. SE.
But what I'm saying is now the standard for a phone is $1,000. Like for a smartphone, the high end smartphone, this is a high end VR augmented reality product. It doesn't surprise me they went high. I'm surprised they went as high as they did. But I could also see them being able to, bring it down in price in a year or two with modifications as that technology gets cheaper. And hopefully it will improve technology of competitors. Maybe MetaQuest feels like they need to step up their game a little bit.
Honestly, MetaQuest and PSVR 2 are going to blast off because people are going to be like, this is 90% cheaper.
MetaQuest is $300.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So yeah,
Like, I'll buy a MetaQuest now because of this. This is stupid.
Just to spite Apple.
Well, I just
how
like.
dare they?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how I could
Yeah, but that
convince myself that I need
that
that.
MetaQuest, it could get viruses, Tyler.
I don't care.
I actually don't. Probably can. Don't quote me on that.
It's gonna hack your Facebook
Good.
right when it goes. In
I
your
hope it
face.
deletes it.
Your Facebook's been hacked, and it'll be posting a bunch of
Look at this video
Daily
you're
Mail
in.
articles.
What other news stories we got?
We talked about the Miles movie.
Oh,
Dwayne Johnson
yeah, okay.
is back
Yep.
for I'm calling it Fast X Part 2. He officially announced
Well-
that he's squashed his beef with Vin Diesel, but not
Fast,
really.
Fast X.
2.
No.
X half.
0.5.
He called it.
It's not the
Fast-
next one. It's not Fast 11.
No, it's Fast X Part 2.
Okay.
Because we just got Fast X Part 1.
He was giving me real spin-off, way more like spin-off
Oh,
vibes
yeah.
than like
Yeah,
mainline. But it's not Hobbs and Shaw, but it's...
Dude, I was watching something with Bryn this weekend, and the
Hobbs and
message...
Shaw?
No, well, kind of. So the message of this episode... No, I was reading her a book. What book was I reading?
Bluey, the book.
No, I can't remember what it was, but the message of the book was if you work together, you can accomplish things. And, like, that's the whole plot of Hobbs and Shaw. My less than 2-year-old daughter can capture that from reading a book, a
It's
golden
a kids
book.
movie, bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
They make two
Pretty
more
much.
Hobbs and Shaw movies. It'll be up there with Lord of the Rings and
Oh.
Spider-Verse with
Oh, no.
best trilogies of all time.
No. Yeah, so he's back for more Fast films because he got fired from DC and doesn't have anything else going on besides Moana in 5 years. So he needed another movie, and that's an easy gravy train to jump back on top of.
Absolutely.
Gravy train.
I should have mentioned this in the kind of at the end of our Spider-Verse conversation, but a Gwen Stacy animated movie has also been confirmed.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Like by the
Fast
same team?
tracked. Yeah. Well, same producing team. I can't.
Is it part of like the Spider-Verse?
Yeah. It's
Ooh,
the
okay.
same Gwen.
Then I'm down.
Yeah, I'm in.
I'm down.
Let's
She
do it.
is awesome.
Yep, she's great. I have 2 more news stories.
Go
Okay.
for it. I have 0 news stories.
Number 1, Microsoft announced today that there will be no full CG trailers at their showcase this weekend.
Ooh.
Boo.
So I guess
we don't want gameplay. We
So-
want fake stuff.
yeah. So making those announcements is always a double-edged sword.
They kind of were even. They said like multiple things. It'll be like it'll be gameplay and engine,
Yeah.
or like there'll be cutscenes and
It'll
those
be,
are
like, mixed
CG,
things, yeah.
But it won't be like here's the CG announcement. Like it won't be like the
Concord
Metal Gear Solid remake
or the Concord trailer. Yeah, it'll be
like where it's like, oh, this shows nothing of what our game is like.
right where you get no feel. So you'll be able to get a feel for the game. You guys have any predictions for?
I
the game
probably
showcase?
should. This isn't gonna happen
For Game Fest or just Xbox?
For the Xbox showcase.
for the Xbox showcase. We get a teaser for whatever the Halo Infinite Battle Royale project is.
Ooh, I like that.
Teaser, not like a hey, it's coming this season.
Yeah, just
but just
a
like
look
a,
at it.
I'll one up you. We get a trailer for Halo Season 2.
Season 4 is about to come out. On June.
Season 2 of the show.
Oh, that's actually possible.
When did they get back into filming that yet?
They're gonna be
Before the
like,
writer's strike?
Covenant Girl is back.
Here's my.
No, they're like Covenant Girl never existed.
I feel like my prediction is way more bold. I think Hellblade drops.
They already showed it that it's gonna be in.
No, I think it comes out like day and date, like it's on Game Pass Sunday.
Oh.
Ooh, that is.
It was
that
because
is-
like
I
it
love
was in the Summer Game Fest trailer.
Yeah,
that
I mean they showed
Jeff Keighley
gameplay for
made,
it
so-
last year. Like it would not. They've been very quiet. They need a win. Redfall sucked. Like they need something.
To be fair, I think they're banking a lot on. They have a dedicated thing for Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield
immediately
Direct, yeah.
after the showcase.
Yep.
So like, Starfield's their big thing.
I need Starfield to be good.
Where do you put Hellblade if you don't release it in the summer though?
That's a good point. You don't want it to get
'Cause
buried.
you have Forza Motorsport 7. You have Starfield. We're definitely going to get a look at Fable. Or what's it called? Not they have that Obsidian has a fantasy RPG coming out too.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Like they have a lot of things that they have to fit later this year.
I think it'll come out in August.
Hellblade, right before Starfield.
Around Mortal Kombat time.
Mortal Kombat comes out the same week as Starfield.
Thought it came out in August.
September.
Oh. I think it'll come out in August.
Maybe-
Hellblade 1 was not a very big game.
They don't need it to do huge numbers. They
Mhm.
need it to get good critical reception
Yep.
for award season, which is why I would think they maybe try and position it. Yeah, maybe a month before Starfield or a month after Starfield if they can get away with that. I could see it being because Starfield's September. I could see it being a October release. Lean into the Halloween's kind of a spooky time.
The
It's not.
creepiness
It's
of
not
it.
it's not a super nice game. It's kind of a creepy, spooky
I'll,
game.
I'll stick with I think my bold prediction of it comes out this Sunday. But I also think if it doesn't come out, something will drop this Sunday. One of their big games will
Well, they've
release.
already did that this year too with Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, I think like the two big
And
ones to me
that
are.
got really good PR for them.
Yep.
So if they could afford to do it again,
That was a
they
great
should.
game.
Yep. Hellblade and Forza Motorsport 7 are the two games I think are most likely to have that happen.
Yeah.
The problem is if you put out Forza, you're putting it in between Diablo and Final Fantasy 16. But Forza's good counter programming to those two as well. So
Do we think? Oh, it's not gonna happen. Nope, that's a bad decision. I'm
What?
not gonna
say it.
Is Xbox gonna announce some sort of Project Q Nintendo Switch like device?
The Xbox Switch. Play on your toilet.
No.
No, they won't.
No.
That's why I retracted that before I even said it.
They'll back like that
They're gonna
Rogue
announce
thing or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
Xbox Series V.
Their virtual reality.
Their VR headset.
Or their
Their
haptic
headset.
controller that they patented last year.
Mm.
That could be it for hardware.
That would be a good because
I'd buy that immediately.
I'd buy that
That's
as soon as my
sick.
Elite
Yeah, I don't have
started
really
going out.
I would
I
wait
think.
for a price point first.
$80.
That's cute.
$3,499.
Isn't a normal controller like 70?
Yeah.
How much is the DualSense? Brand new, it's like $80.
Maybe, I think.
Yeah.
I think they.
But it's also their only controller.
You can
This
still
this
buy-
would be an upgrade controller. I feel like it would be a lot more.
I don't think
It
it'll
will be
that
in
much more.
between the Elite and the normal.
Which Elite?
The lower priced one.
Okay. So then it would be anywhere between 130 and 70?
I bet it's
Like $100.
probably 100.
It will be
If they could-
$117
if they could hit
dollars
that-
in honor of Master Chief.
If they could hit that 99 price point,
Yeah.
that would
That
be
way it's
that would be
under
ideal
100.
for consumers. That looks better than 109 or 119.
They can be like, look, it's under $100.
Yeah.
Barely.
My other news story, the Flash movie is only going to have one premiere
Mm.
because of the rumor is there's a secret ending, and it's come out now that in the press screenings of this, like the early screenings,
There's a scene missing.
there's a scene missing, and they also were
Oh.
blurring out parts of the screen, like in the movie. Like there were sections
That's
blurred
crazy.
out.
So
They're being very secretive.
between that and the fact that Andy Muschietti has said if they get a sequel to this,
Ezra's back. Yeah.
they're not recasting Ezra Miller. That tells me that they have a lot of faith in the movie,
Mm.
but B they've done some kind of what's this called? Conniving with James Gunn to make something like the future is possible with the Flash.
Yeah.
It's not like this set in stone. It's the end of this story, and we're gonna do something new going forward with this weird DC reboot. I think that may be true for Aquaman as
I was just
well.
say they
They've
came
kinda
out this
talked
week and said that they didn't have much changed in their stuff either.
Yeah.
So
I think there could be one premiere also just because of the whole Ezra situation. Like
They've
said,
talked about
he's not doing
any
press.
press.
He's just going to do photo op.
Sorry.
I think
You're right.
they're doing like a video Interview 2.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Something that's
like
very
1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very controlled.
Yeah, very controlled.
Yep. Yeah, they
Manage
gotta
that
they gotta
PR
walk a
within
line
1
here.
week left.
That's gonna be tough. Man, that's gonna be tough. I do wonder what that secret ending is. I have my guess, which I don't think is a big swing.
It's gonna
but-
tie
You
into
guys
the
are gonna
CW
have to
Powerpuff
keep-
Girls show.
and then keep it secret for like
Keep it secret.
4 days from me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna see that movie until
I'm gonna go
the
that
week
Thursday
after.
night. There is a 6:30 showing. There's also like a 3:40 showing.
That Thursday.
I'm gonna go at the 6:30 showing.
I think I'll still be in.
Because it's gonna get spoiled. I'm already seeing things floating around. I don't.
You don't want to bury your head in the sand,
Yeah.
but you also don't. Yeah. No, that's fair.
You can take off. And,
Secret ending. Game Lord Master in the chat. Secret ending. Henry Cavill is still Superman. No. Sorry. I'm sorry, Nick. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Secret ending. Henry Cavill is still the Witcher.
In their universe.
Yeah, he shows up and he's like,
I just think it's Eobard.
Oh.
And I think it's Ezra playing Eobard. And the reason he won't, or they won't be recast is because they're going to move to Wally.
Bold prediction. I love it. We'll
But
check back.
The
in
Wally
3
thing
weeks
is
and
the
see if
big.
you're
The
right.
Wally thing's the big swing. I think Eobard's in it. Remember the picture, like Flash doodles, and it's a Flash in a yellow suit. I'm like, I'm not gonna read into this. I swear, I'm not gonna read into this.
He
I
read
can't
into
help
it.
but read into it now. It's got to be Eobard.
All right. Well, we didn't have a lot
Played by
of news
Henry
this
Cavill.
week.
I guess so. One of the things I did see kind of floating around
So
is
we're just
that.
keep going on this.
Yeah, sorry. Is
I love
that
it.
like there is a reason that at the beginning when Flash and Batman are working together, there's a reason that Superman's not there, and they explain it in the movie by showing you something. I don't know if that's true.
turns out the kid who is Superman is actually the kid from Brightburn. This is actually the Brightburn universe.
I do think there will be some sort of casting. There will be some pretty big casting stuff coming off of this movie.
Yeah.
Gunn was willing to change a post credits for Shazam. There's going to be something in this.
Yeah, I think that is a good prediction here that
We'll get one of the big ones.
we'll have. Well, when is Comic-Con?
July.
Usually that's July. So
July like 20th.
Yeah, somewhere in the 15th to the 25th. Somewhere
we
in that
maybe
window.
get between here and there. We maybe get a couple announcement things, and then they have a panel at Comic-Con. You know, future of the DC Cinematic Universe.
Introduce your Superman.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
Lois Lane. Sorry, that's just this me. I'm more excited for the casting of Lois Lane than I am Superman. Because
love
I
it.
think it's way harder to cast personally. So
Love
I think
it.
it's gonna be the chick from Miss Maisel.
that'd be so awesome.
What's her last name?
Brosnahan?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be her.
That'd be so good. She's so awesome.
I think it's gonna end up being her and Corn Sweat. Which I've not seen her do anything, but I like Corn Sweat.
All right, what did you guys do this week? And give any weekly updates?
I played a lot of Diablo 4.
How was that?
It's really good.
Did you kill the devil?
No,
The devil went down to Georgia.
What are you even doing,
the devil's not in this one.
He was looking for a
At least
soul
not
to
where
steal
I'm at.
All you need is a fiddle.
in a
This is true.
bind. Really something, something.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Deal.
Historically, I've not been like the biggest Diablo fan. Like, I was not on the Diablo train when Diablo 2 came out. I played through Diablo 2 Resurrected last year with Lepke and a friend of mine from work named Nick. Yeah, both Nicks. I thought it was fine. I don't know. It's old. It feels old. This feels
Don't talk
like
about Brett like that.
Brett, you're old.
Got him.
You
What?
feel old.
Have you found your nut yet?
But this is like, it's new, it's updated, it looks pretty. The story's interesting. You're able to create your character, which is nice. Like in Diablo 2, you just have
Pick a
you
class.
just pick a class and that's it. You look like what you look like, and
Upper
it's kind of
middle
frustrating.
class.
But
Lock it in. No.
but no, it's really fun. It's really good. Love the world of Sanctuary. I play as a druid. I am a pulverized druid. If you're a Diablo fan, you'll know what I mean. I wreck stuff. However, they've already nerfed my class and powers, so that sucks. But no, full release is tonight. And if you're playing it, enjoy.
And you've already beat it?
No, I have not beat it yet. I'm in Act 3 out of 5. So, you can move through this story pretty quick. Like, Diablo is a game that the whole game scales with you. So, like, no matter what level you are, when you get to a certain point, you're fine. What I did learn, though, and I guess this would be a nitpick, is you are... I don't know if this is 100% true, but this is my experience. You are loot locked by your campaign progression. I got to a point where like everything I got was like 10 levels lower than me, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I was like, I'm just gonna play the campaign because I don't know what's happening. Once I moved on to Act 3, my loot started being good again. So if you're playing it and you realize that your loot dropping isn't very good, just progress your campaign. So like my focus moving forward, like when I get back on this week, will be I'm beating the campaign one way or the other. That's what I'm doing. I'll jump on. I'll talk to everybody, but I'm beating the campaign. Don't bother me until I beat it.
When you play with people, do y'all play the campaign together? Or?
You can, yeah. Generally, what we'll do is just join whoever is the furthest back in the campaign and just play through it with them, so that they're getting all of their progression. And then once you catch up,
does it scale per person, or is it like
every enemy scales to your character? So like per person, so your damage is properly allocated to the enemies as they would be in your world. It's really cool. Like it's balanced really well. It feels really good to play. The synergies of all the characters are really cool. It's great, and like character designs are awesome. Like there's some really like the storefront is a big point of contention right now because all the cosmetics are pretty expensive, as they generally are in games like this.
Classic.
Classic. What do you know?
Yeah, but the armors and stuff you get within the game, in my opinion, look better. Like they look awesome. Like I don't think you need a cosmetic store in this. Transmog is free from the jump. You salvage an item, you get that style, you can change it, you can change the colors of it, you can put on any piece you want. You can take all your armor off and still just wear armors and you'll get their bonuses. It's great. I like it a lot. It's one of those games where when I'm not playing it, all I'm thinking about is playing it. And that's a great feeling.
That is a good feeling.
And I've never been a big Diablo fan, but man, this just feels so good to play. And I just enjoy, like, it's really simple. Like, it's a game that you can, like, Game Lord Master's in the chat.
In the chat.
He could be playing right now. He maybe is. Just dungeon crawling and playing. And it doesn't feel like the story's not so engaged that you feel like you're missing out on things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there if you want it. And I think that's great. There's a lot of side quests. There's a lot of, see, he's playing as he's watching. And, like, I would bet he would tell you, like, I don't feel like I'm missing things. Like, you can just, it's a relaxing play, which is really weird because it can be really intense too.
Yeah.
Diablo is kind of a game that you can make as, relaxing or intense as you want to. And I like that. So for me, I won't give it a rating yet, but I'd say as a
rating in progress.
Rating in progress, yeah. But I would definitely recommend checking it out if you're interested. If it's a game that you watched the trailers and saw some gameplay and you were like, I think that would be kind of cool, I can safely tell you that it is cool, and I think you would enjoy it. If you're not an ARPG fan or an isometric top-down fan, maybe not for you.
I think the only isometric game I've played the Link's Awakening remake, which I didn't vibe with, and the Bionicle game on Game Boy Advance.
Nice. Yeah, for me, like isometrics, I have to wear like my blue light glasses because they give me a lot of eye strain because I'm always staring at just one spot. Whereas like if I'm playing a shooter, I'm looking around, like my eyes are moving a lot more. With this, like I'm very small head movements or eye movements. I just like top down, and this game is great. Yeah, like it's really fun. I can't believe how much I've enjoyed it. I'm level 41. Saw the first level cap is 50, and then you stop getting skill points and start getting paragons.
If this year wasn't so packed,
this year's stacked.
I would have tried it. 'Cause I think it looks super cool. It looks super pretty.
Yeah.
I've watched people play it and I've heard great things. So.
Yeah. Oh, and like with Diablo too, like it's one of those games that every season, like their big thing is fresh start. Like season starts, fresh start. Like let's say next year they're in season 6 and you're like, hey, I really don't have anything and it's on sale. Jump in. Give it a shot. Especially if you're not 100% like sold on it and you can get a discount. It's up to you. I mean, a lot of people really like to play Necromancers.
What are the... Because it's back in this one, right?
Necromancer?
Yeah.
Yeah, Necromancer's in this one. Rogue, Sorcerer, Druid, and Barbarian. So there's 5... And Necro. So there's 5 classes. Barbarian is the one that is winning the race right now. to get to the level 100 statue thing. Have you heard about this?
No.
The Blizzard's running this thing. If you play in hardcore mode, if your character dies, you lose your character.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're running a competition. The first 1,000 people to make it to level 100 in hardcore mode will get their name placed on a statue on the Blizzard campus in LA.
And the Barbarians are crushing it.
And the Barbarians have, I think, 4 of the top 10 characters right now. They're all in like the 50s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The leader is a rogue, though.
Just be sneaking.
No, I think he's like a famous Diablo YouTuber who's just really good. Because, I mean, playing as a rogue, you're pretty squishy. I play as a druid. I'm tanky AF. I'm a chonky boy. His name's Buckshank.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Luke, what'd you do this week?
I finished 2 shows.
Nice.
Ted Lasso finished. I very much enjoyed that series. I really enjoyed season 3. I guess most people weren't as positive on it.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see where that turn was. I have a feeling it's around the Shut Up and Dribble episode, because for some reason people hate that. Just a theory, whatever. I think there's just so many great lessons you can learn in that show. Season 3 was really about change, how people change. And I think they work those like life lessons so well, and it's sad. But great show. 3 seasons, it's not super long, so get on Apple TV Plus and go watch that.
It's an easy watch too.
And start Silo, because it is also really good and it's getting kind of crazy. I watch that every week. Loving that. The other show I finished was White House Plumbers.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
HBO Max.
Do you like it?
It was great. It's only 5 episodes. I never really knew that much about the Watergate stuff.
Were they the ones who caught him or whatever?
No, they're the ones doing it.
Oh.
It was the people who got caught. And it is just a wild story, and it's like played up of how like kind of idiotic they are, but some of the decisions they make, you're just like, oh my gosh, there's no way you actually thought stuff like that would work. And the 2 leads, who are Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux, are so good. Justin Theroux is so serious, but like he's the biggest goofball idiot. He wants to kill somebody so bad. His first suggestion for everything is just like, do you want me to take him out? And everybody's just like, no, you can't just kill people. And he's like,
that's Tyler in the writer's room every time. So how many people do we want to kill?
And he's
like on episode 2, they're over at his house listening to
a Hitler speech.
And like there are no, I haven't finished it yet, but
okay,
there's like kids making noise outside, so he goes and gets his gun. Yeah, he's like, I'll be right back.
He's like, he yells at people in German too. He's a Nazi.
Definitely a Nazi.
The last episode honestly gets a lot more serious, mainly because of how the 4th episode ends, and there's just stuff I didn't know, and it's like, this stuff is true, and it makes you just think like, this is super sus. What is going on with all this stuff? Like, puts all these conspiracy theories in your head, and like maybe a lot of them are true. But honestly, it was a lot of fun. Great acting. HBO? It's on HBO. Yeah, it's only 5 episodes, limited series.
Pretty easy watch.
Yep. So Ted Lasso, fanboy worthy, and I would give White House Plumbers also fanboy worthy.
Sweet.
And then I've been playing tons of Zelda. 80 hours in now.
Nice.
Dang.
I have one more main quest, and it's titled Destroy Ganondorf, so I'm about to beat it.
Let's go.
At least I hope so.
You are almost there, my man.
The way it goes is like, I have a main quest, and it's like, all right, I think I'm almost at the end. And then it finishes, then another one pops up, and it's like, okay, I think I'm almost at the end. Then it finishes, and another one pops up, and it's just like, is there ever going to be an end? And honestly, it just feels so long, and I'm really conflicted on it. I think the dungeons are super lame, which was a huge disappointment. The story, the narrative that you see is super interesting, and it's quite different for Zelda. And that was super nice. What isn't nice is not playing it and only watching it. It's extremely annoying. It's just like the first game. Hey, go to the spot. Here's a video to watch. Go find the next one. It's like, why can't we put that into what I'm doing? It's just really frustrating. Because the story is really interesting. Anyway, I'm excited to beat it. I always enjoy killing Ganondorf. I've done it a lot.
Absolutely. Over in the chat, Game Lord Master asks, Luke, who are they getting in Silo? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I think it's the sheriff.
No comment.
All right, no comment. I like it.
Definitely the sheriff. And probably other people as well. They already got George and the old sheriff. Who are they, though? Dude, the way the last episode ended. Like,
I've been watching that as well. It's so good.
I've been waiting for this to happen in the episode, one of the episodes, and it finally happened. It's just like, now we're going to get going.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
Yeah. Agreed. This week I have been watching Silo, obviously, but I finished Love and Death, the HBO series about a very unfortunate death.
And love. Unfortunate love.
Unfortunate love and death.
Timely.
True story out of Texas. Not the 90s? 80s? How long ago was it?
It's got to be the 80s.
80s, I think, is the vibes. I can't remember.
80s are older.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I think it's good. I also think that the challenge of who the characters are, the situations they were put in, and like their personalities, make it for somewhat uninteresting performances. The leads, who are Jesse Plemons, Jesse Plemons is the guy, and then Elizabeth Olsen is Candy, the main girl. They have a very I don't think. Excuse me, Luke and I were talking pre-show how he got through a couple episodes. And,
I watched the first two.
And was kind of like, not for me. And I can totally get that. The dynamic between them is one of the least interesting aspects of this. And that might be considered a negative, but the dynamics they have between their partners, who gets murdered or killed. Technically it's not. Well,
do they slip in the shower?
I won't spoil anything. Although it is a true story.
Spoil it off screen for me.
Okay.
That's my theory.
And specifically, like the performance by Candy's lawyer, who is a member of her church, who we meet early in the season, but don't really. I say the series, but doesn't really get a chance to shine until episode like 5. He is really, really good. And kind of carries the second half of this through a trial. At the end of the day, I still don't think it's probably the best television I've watched. I'm going to give it to Matthew McConaughey. If you're really into true crime, it's probably worth your watch. But it's definitely not as prestigious as something that I would kind of expect out of HBO. I've seen significantly better shows
on HBO
and
probably even the last year with like Under the Banner of Heaven.
Yeah, it just I think part of it is perspective. We kind of follow Candy Montgomery, who's the woman who's accused of murder, and where it's. I think it may be based off of a book, and therefore we're kind of forced into one perspective. Versus,
there's also another show on Hulu
there is a show called starring Jessica Biel
called
on
Candy.
Hulu called Candy.
Oh, is that the same story?
Same story. Yeah.
That's funny.
But I think Luke had mentioned something before the show that I would agree with, that I think it would probably be a more entertaining show if we were learning about things from the perspective of the policeman. I think it's a more unique show in that it doesn't do that, but I don't think it's as compelling. And I can understand how someone might get a little, I don't know, bored with the performances. It's kind of weird to be treating the subject matter at hand with kind of such aloofness as Jesse Plemons and Elizabeth Olsen's characters do. But it's an interesting story, a really unfortunate story, and didn't end up happy for anyone. So no one ended up having a good time. But yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
I'd say at the beginning, Jesse Plemons and Elizabeth Olsen were having a good time.
That's fair. That's fair.
Based on their characters' decisions, not based on their chemistry, which they had none. At least that's what I thought.
At the end of the series, no one's having a good time.
Especially the dead person.
Yeah, especially the dead person. All right, we'll be back next week to review Transformers.
Was there any fan box?
We didn't have any fan box questions this week.
Boo.
We've it's a long episode, so it's okay. But if you have a fan box question for us, we would love to answer some. We're coming up kind of on the halfway mark of the year here pretty soon, so we'll be doing probably our kind of like midway through the year. Where are we at movie wise? Like, what's the field looking like? Are we excited for the second half?
I'm really excited for all the kids to yell, "I played as him in Fortnite." At all my movies.
The guy from Fortnite. Mid-season prediction: will Luke ever go back to a movie theater?
If the trend continues, I don't know. I might just have to wait for home.
It'll be Tyler and Brett reviewing, and Luke will just be like, "Yeah, okay, I'll check that out once it gets here."
I'll have to dip
once
you
it's
guys do spoilers.
VOD.
Just go out there and lay on the couch for a bit.
Gemma would love the company.
I wouldn't mind hanging out with Gemma.
My dog constantly is like, if we raise our voices, she'll come sit by the door and whine at us. Are you okay in there?
What's wrong?
I think she's up with Stephanie tonight. But all right. Hey, thank you all for watching, tuning in live, listening. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week to review Transformers and talk video games here pretty soon. So we'll see you.
I'm really excited.